First, let me tell you where this analysis comes from. It's a piece by Cern Basher, an investor and analyst who has followed Tesla closely for a long time. The question is a single one. Is Tesla being too cautious with Robotaxi? Let's dig in. Is Tesla being too cautious with Robotaxi? Compared to Elon Musk's earlier bolder statements, the size of Tesla's current fleet looks unusually small. But here's the conclusion up front. At this stage, no, it isn't being too cautious. Tesla is facing an unusually asymmetric risk. Adding a few hundred more vehicles today brings only a modest economic benefit. Meanwhile, a single serious accident could delay the entire national rollout by months. What Elon is managing isn't only safety risk, it's political risk. Tens of thousands of Americans die in ordinary traffic accidents every year. Yet a single serious accident involving a driverless Tesla would become worldwide news. That accident wouldn't be treated as just one more crash. It would be taken as a verdict on the camera-only architecture, on eliminating the driver, and on Musk's past autonomy claims. So the payoff is extremely asymmetric. Add cars slightly faster, and you get some extra revenue and data. But one accident could halt the whole rollout. If the eventual prize is worth hundreds of billions of dollars, sacrificing a few months of early revenue to protect the entire rollout is completely rational economically. Tesla's Ashok Elluswamy emphasized that they've already driven over 380,000 unsupervised robotaxi miles with zero notable incidents. That's meaningful evidence that the system isn't obviously unsafe. It backs the claim that Tesla can drive on cameras alone, without LiDAR, radar, or detailed maps. But for validating a system meant to eventually drive billions of miles, 380,000 miles is still a statistically small sample, though they do have over 12 billion supervised FSD miles behind them. What Tesla really needs to uncover are the rare catastrophic failures. A system can drive flawlessly for hundreds of thousands of miles and still hide a flaw that appears only under specific conditions. Unusual weather, the vicinity of emergency vehicles, road changes from construction, unexpected police directions, connectivity or hardware failures. These rare situations are exactly what produce danger. Next, Starlink. Elon said Starlink connectivity is becoming an important part of the robotaxi architecture, especially for Cybercab. The reason is simple. A robotaxi can't depend solely on cellular networks. Even in Silicon Valley, coverage can drop out. A driverless car can't lose communications and go missing in action. Investors tend to measure robotaxi progress by counting vehicles. But what Ashok emphasizes is weekly unsupervised miles. Those unsupervised miles are growing at more than 10% per week. That's a growth rate that roughly doubles every 7 weeks. Compounding at 10% weekly, that's about 12 times over 6 months and more than 140 times over a full year. So they can hold the vehicle count down while ramping real-world exposure at a fierce pace. This rollout is better described not as slow, but as controlled exponential growth. One analyst asked why Tesla is opening small operations in multiple cities instead of concentrating in Austin. The answer? To prove generalization. Putting 500 cars in one city only proves you can repeatedly drive that one environment. But spreading small fleets across Florida, Texas, and California exposes the system to different road designs, driving cultures, weather, and signage. This is the core of Tesla's investment thesis. If each city needs months of mapping, it scales like a traditional transport operation. But a generalized system can be switched on across an entire state, like software. Caution also helps find operational problems. Robotaxi isn't just an FSD software product. Tesla has to build an entire transportation operation around it. Cleaning the cars, passenger support, lost property, charging and repositioning, remote assistance, vandalism, accident procedures, demand forecasting. Tesla gets to learn all of this while the fleet is in the dozens, not the thousands. And Cybercab justifies extra caution because it's an entirely new vehicle platform. Tesla has vast data on the Model 3 and Model Y, but for the Cybercab's braking behavior, steering response, dimensions, weight distribution, and failure characteristics, it has no comparable experience yet. So, Elon said they'll accumulate Cybercab-specific miles using vehicles temporarily fitted with steering wheels and pedals. Validating the neural network and validating the whole vehicle are two different things. So, where would Tesla become too cautious? It would be if it adopted zero accidents as a literal, permanent requirement. No transport system operating at scale can guarantee no one is ever injured. Drunk drivers, reckless cyclists, pedestrians darting into traffic, events it can't fully control will happen. So, the correct standard isn't a robotaxi must never be involved in an accident. It must cause materially fewer deaths and injuries than a comparable human driver. There's also a paradox here. Proving safety requires driving miles, but you can't accumulate those miles without adding vehicles. Excessive caution slows the very collection of evidence needed to expand. Elon said growth is constrained by the march of nines, an ideal of 99.99999% reliability. But the problem is that this reliability has never been defined. What is a single failure? A collision? An injury? A traffic violation? A passenger intervention? A remote assistance request? A stranded vehicle? Depending on the unit, 8 nines could be astonishing or meaningless. What investors really want are objective metrics: miles per collision, miles per injury-causing crash, miles per remote intervention, and benchmarks against human drivers. So why does Waymo look more aggressive? In truth, Waymo is simply being cautious in a different place. Waymo tolerates visible low-severity failures, getting stuck, blocking an intersection, needing remote assistance, because it believes its system is already reducing serious harm overall. The source of that confidence is data. Waymo has accumulated over 220 million fully autonomous miles and claims 94% fewer serious or fatal injury crashes than humans. That's roughly 580 times Tesla's 380,000 miles. A Waymo stopped at an intersection looks incompetent on video, but it may be the safe choice, inaction over improvising through a situation it doesn't understand. A visible failure and a genuinely dangerous one are different things. From an investor standpoint, Tesla today is not too cautious as a risk-adjusted business call. Protecting its ability to deploy millions of vehicles later is worth far more than a few months of early revenue. But investors shouldn't accept caution as an indefinite excuse. Tesla should eventually disclose measurable safety thresholds and show that deployment accelerates as those thresholds are met. The conclusion: Tesla is probably being appropriately cautious today, but Elon's zero-harm language is too absolute as a long-term standard. The question isn't whether it eliminates every accident, but whether it can show robotaxi is materially safer than human driving. Once that's proven at sufficient scale, continuing to hold back would be, in the truest sense, being too cautious.